We've got big smiles on our faces, and I really hope this stays up until the end of the conversation. But I'm so happy to kickstart a conversation which I have already on my show. It's called Unmind Matters. My name is Annie. I host the afternoon show on 94.3 TD1, and it's a daily show. Unmind Matters is just like the name goes, to unmind the matters of the mind, if that makes sense to you. But it'll soon make more sense to you, because we're going to talk about mental health here. And with me, to make this a reality and to continue this conversation, is a mental health expert, Arushi Sethi, who is the founder of Trijog. And so everything about mental health and wellness is what Arushi does through Trijog, and they're partners with us on this conversation called Unmind Matters. I've got 3 Gen Zs joining me for this conversation, starting with, this time from my right, Agasthya Shah.
Hi.
I have Kareema Barry, and I also have Sakshi Shivdasani. They are all very popular social media influencers. Everyone doing their bit, everyone putting their talents out every single day. That's quite a bit, don't you think? That's what we're going to find out today really about. So the very first conversation that we're going to kickstart will be about the pressure of being an all-rounder. You know, I have to be good at everything. It may have started when you were very young, because parents also have that pressure. They probably try and put the pressures or the dreams or goals they had that they couldn't fulfill on their children. It happens a lot. I'm a parent too. So I know I kind of try and push that onto my son too. Did you feel that, Kareema? Let's start with you.
This is so odd, because yesterday in my therapy session, this is all I spoke about.
Ooh.
That I have taken on too much on my plate. I can't do all of these things at the same time. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to give up something, but I've never actually not finished what I started. And my mom was like, it's okay if you can't. And I was like, oh, this is the first time she's saying that.
Wow.
So yeah, I have felt that. And I don't think it was very external. I think it was more about what I had made myself believe. And my therapist said something very interesting, because I was like, there were these kids in school who used to be like excellent swimmers, they were debaters, they were excellent at studies, had a ravishing social life, and they were doing everything perfectly. And then my therapist was like, do you really think they were doing all of these things every single day, completely and properly, fully doing all of them? So no, they weren't. But yeah, I have felt that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, before asking Agasthya and Sakshi about it, I'd like to come to Arushi right away. Trijog has been in the space of wellness for a while now, and there are many lives that you're touching, because you realize, and especially through the pandemic, we've realized that mental health is something we used to talk about. I remember my panic attack that happened many years ago, and we couldn't even have that conversation. My parents would be, you will shut up, and we will deal with it in the best possible manner at home. So when you have people coming to you, young, old, senior citizens, everybody's got mental health issues. Do you think this has become a normal conversation today?
So I think we'll start with the present moment. Look at what Kari said. She said, in my therapy session, clap for yourselves, guys. We are the change. About 7 years back, when we envisioned Trijog, nobody spoke about mental health like this. Nobody gave mental health main stage presence. Nobody thought mental health would become the norm. Right. Well, guys, the truth is, with a show of hands, how many of us have a mind in this room? Annie? Yeah. So is it safe to say we all have mental health?
Yeah.
The truth is, we all have mental health, and it is about acceptance and acknowledgement. And our youth, the Gen Z today, is definitely more cognizant about the fact, and I would say it is organizations like ours who are leading change in India who have brought this conversation to main stage. Now coming to the second thing that you asked. With change, of course, awareness increases, and so today her mom was telling her that, hey, you know, it is okay, take on how much you can do. Right. But how many of us have that safe space? Hence, going to therapy becomes so important. Right. Therapy will not tell you what are the solutions, Annie. It will tell you what are your thought processes and what will work out best for you. It's so objective that we need to hear our thoughts. So we all have a shower every day, right? Yeah, you wash your physical body. Sure, Aggie. 100%. 100%. 100%.
He's lying.
I am so glad she threw that question at you and not me, because I would have had a different answer.
I don't shower every day.
You don't see, she doesn't shower every day.
See, in the winters,
I don't
yeah.
We need to save water. We need to save water.
But when we went for horse riding camp, who showered for the whole 5 days?
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you do wash your body every day and you cleanse your body every day, where are you cleansing the mind? Now coming to and why does it become so important? Being an all-rounder, I feel like this comes first through us as a generation for a very long time, whether we're Gen X, Gen Zs, Gen Y, millennials, what we are, I guess.
Yeah.
You equate your self-worth with success.
Right.
You see, you think that being successful defines your self-worth. Well, it's absolutely the other way around. How you see yourself defines your self-worth, and that defines your success.
Right.
And that is something we need to believe in, we need to fully understand, and we need to even practice. Because the pressures of an all-rounder are in the conversation that you have with your mind. And I'm sure society has a lot to add with it. But let's start with self-love and we'll be great. We'll be just fine.
I'm so proud of the fact that Unmind Matters, we're having a collective therapy that's actually running, on the sides. This is really nice. So, well, Kareema, I'm so glad you opened yourself up. Sakshi, how has it been for you?
I guess for me it's like right now also, I don't know, we've been talking for a couple of days trying to organize this, and I think Arushi has immediately gotten a glimpse on how like scattered I am because of the amount of things I have to do, and I'm at this point I'm just like, hey sorry I can't do this, hey sorry I can't do that, but trying to do everything and failing at all of it.
Right.
So like literally, I think last week I was like, oh, I need to book a therapy session, and then I was like, oh, but I don't have the time for therapy. So I get so I'm in that phase where like I'm between, like I'm doing a lot of things. There's a lot of internal pressure, like Kareema said. There's no pressure from the outside, but I'm also like, but why can't I do all of this? My mid-20s, my early 20s are when I need to hustle, and then after a while I'm just like sitting in bed like thinking of all the things I have to do and getting absolutely nothing done. And if it's not a panic attack, to kind of diagnose anxiety in yourself is quite confusing, because you're like,
beautifully
oh, this is normal, like these palpitations,
what are they called?
Disorientation is all normal. And then I was kind of telling my friend like, oh, you know that feeling where you just feel like nothing, there's a pit in your stomach, and then and I'm like describing all the symptoms of anxiety, and she's like, hey, that's not normal. And I'm like, oh, it isn't. And then she's like, I'm pretty sure you should go see someone about this. And I'm just like, oh, no, I don't have time for that. So I have a lot of pressure put on me by me. And I'm like, now it's just like I'm living with like some sort of undiagnosed mental stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is normal. Crying in your car on the way to an interview, normal.
Yeah.
Like at least you're not doing it at the interview. At least you're showing up and doing.
I love the way you said that there is a lot that I put on myself, and that's by me.
Yeah.
So then, where do you draw the line? Have you started thinking of drawing the line?
So right now I'm in that phase where I'm thinking of drawing the line, but I haven't made any steps to draw the line. I'm just like trying to extend my little basket of things to do, and I'm like, oh yeah, one more thing is not going to be the like thing that snaps my back, right? And then I'm taking on like 20 different things, and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine.
This is when you do it, when you're in your 20s. So Agasthya, have you felt this kind of pressure?
What I think
Wait,
is...
before that, you're only 18?
I'm 9, I turned 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the youngest in the room?
I think so, yeah.
Why are we clapping?
Hey.
Go
So
ahead.
Yay!
how it's
It'll get
always...
worse.
how it's always been in my head since I'm a child. I think it's not because of my parents or anybody. It's just the way I've looked at life. I used to feel bad or not physically okay if I was not being productive. I felt like I was doing something wrong if I was not doing something all the time. And that has carried on till now also.
Any conversation you had with your parents about this or anybody
Yeah.
to make you feel this
Yeah,
way?
nobody made me feel this way. It's just, I think since I'm a child, because, I don't know, like I've seen so many people be good at so many different things and I've been like, mujhe sab karna hai. So it's again this, I don't know where it comes from, but now that I'm growing up and that I'm talking to my parents, talking to my therapist, talking to my friends about such stuff, I have this conversation with my mom quite often that I just go to her, I just lie down, like my head's on her lap and I'm like, Mom, I'm just tired. Because it's like I've been on like traveling, this, working, college, doing everything. And then she's like, it's okay if you don't do anything for like one day, like just don't do anything. And then like somebody calls and I have to go somewhere and do something. But I think it's important for us to also understand that it's okay to just not do anything.
Absolutely.
If you want to be an all-rounder, it's still not advisable or like okay, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a difference between being an all-rounder and just being a little ambitious. It's a very thin line,
Yes.
you can cross over very quickly without realizing.
Yes.
So I think one way that I've kept myself from being on the ambitious side and not the toxic all-round type side is by scheduling like break days.
Yeah.
So like after having like an intense 1 week of work, I like day before yesterday only, it was my break day. I did nothing. I told my manager nothing. I told my friends nothing. I was just in bed eating pizza, watching Netflix. Like that was like my break day. I
Nice.
think that is what kind of
Balances things out.
Yeah.
All right.
94.3
One world, your station.
Radio 1.